Welcome to Money Talk Viewpoint. I am your host, Dennis Williams with CashMap Consulting. Thanks for joining us. And today we have with us Charles Dents with Xelantt Profit Strategies.
Let's take marketing, for example. If they have a marketing plan, hopefully they do. If they have a marketing plan, is that marketing plan, does it cover all the bases necessary, and do they understand what that means? So if you take their, who are they engaging with, in the marketplace in order to market their products and services? And do they understand what that avatar looks like? In today's business world, I believe the percentage is 75%, I believe it is. I may be off a little bit on that percentage, but 75% of decision makers from a buying standpoint are millennials and Gen Z. So if you don't know that you're dealing with millennials and Gen Z, how do you know how to engage with them? You have to engage with them differently than you engage with baby boomers, for example. They have a different thought process. From a marketing standpoint, where are the engagements occurring? So that group, they do 83% of their research online, on social media, before they ever engage with a vendor. So understanding that means that you also have to have robustness, if you will, in your social media platforms, on your website. Websites, as they're built today, are not built to transform or to convert leads to customers. They're just not built that way. And you have to understand that you have to build them in a way that not only do they attract leads, but also that they help convert those leads to customers. And then you have to understand how to use that data to nurture those leads. So all that comes into play, and that's what I mean by robust, is that you have to delve into all of the components of every strategy, every strategy that a company uses. You have to delve into it in depth to understand all the nuances so that they can be as effective as possible, particularly against their competitors.
Okay, I have another question, but I think maybe I'll go to the next step when you then talk about your point number 3, scaling. It would seem to me that once you've just done what you just shared about being robust, scaling is the result. It just happens. Or is there something more you end up doing to create scalability?
Yeah, so scalability certainly is the result. But the other thing about scalability is that scalability also aligns with your strategy. And you have to know where you're going. Just to grow is one thing, but to grow intentionally is another thing. And intentional growth happens through strategy. So you know where you're going. Certainly there are companies that have boomed by accident, but that is the exception and not the rule. Sustainable growth comes through having strategy in place. I won't even say strategic planning, because strategic planning a lot of times becomes something on paper that looks pretty, that's never executed. So I like to just say simply strategy, having strategy in place that will allow you to understand where you are at every stage of growth and what you're looking to achieve.
So let's back up a second again.
Okay.
If you're helping the client be customer focused, isn't the strategy of being customer focused, once that's in place and then the processes are in place, that in turn you just go in the right direction?
You are going in the right direction, but every strategy that a company has that they're focused on, each one should be tied to the other. So, and it all begins with what's the vision of the company? What's their, what are they looking to achieve from a vision standpoint? What's their mission? And then, on a annual basis, what are their goals? What are their goals for the year? And in everything that you do, every strategy that you implement, do they tie to that vision, that mission, even your core business offerings, your goals? Do they all tie together so that everything aligns, and so that you don't have one part of your business is going in one direction, another part of your business going in a different direction? So yes, what you're saying is true, that any given strategy, yeah, it does give a result, but does that result tie to the other strategies you have in place?
Okay. So that kind of comes to the next spot is, do you also end up spending a fair amount of time enabling or ensuring that they are able to identify the key data to collect and the frequency of reviewing it so that they know where they are every step of the process?
Absolutely. One of the key things to any successful business, and I learned this from my large enterprise corporate experiences, is that everything is really data driven, and you have to have the right KPIs in place and understand what those KPIs are in developing those, as well as in tracking them on a regular basis, making adjustments as needed based on data. So data, being a data-driven company, every company rather should be data-driven. And in order to do that, you need to have the right KPIs in place. And so we help our clients understand what those are and to implement them and to use them on a regular basis.
Okay, yeah, this has been a great conversation, and we're kind of nearing the end. So I have to ask you, what would be a kind of a final additional comment that you'd like to add?
Yeah, so my final comment is that, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, that scalable growth doesn't happen by accident. It's intentional. It comes with planning. It comes with having the right mindset in place. And that mindset then leads you into putting the right strategies in place. And so that's my final comment, is that it doesn't happen by accident. Says to them that they want to take their particular business to its pinnacle, to reach its potential. I'm willing to connect, and I'm here to connect. And whether it has to do with scalable growth for you, operational excellence, or even putting a strategy in place so that your business can grow, schedule a free consultation with me, and we'll begin to work on crafting a tailored strategy for you, that whether you're looking to attract strategic investors or simply just to grow and be efficient in your business, I'd love to have that conversation with you so that you can dominate your market.
Charles, you've given us some phenomenal information for our listeners to zero in on as relates to moving from a performance that, again, is plateauing and being able to move them to the next level. And we're not done with you. So we want to come back on April 10 and spend more time talking about, again, this idea of strategic planning with clarity and simplicity that brings scaling to an operation. And so in between that time frame, if you could share with our listeners how to get a hold of you if they would like to follow up immediately rather than waiting.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you, Dennis. Your questions were meaningful to me and allowed us to have at least a high-level conversation. But yeah, strategic planning, meaningful strategic planning is big for any business. And so if anything that's been said here today resonates with any listeners and you'd like to take your company to the pinnacle of its potential, let's connect. And if there are insights you like to get from a vision standpoint to scale your company to the growth that you desire, operational excellence, strategic planning, whatever it may be, you can reach me at www.xelantt.com. Just like my name says here, and the actual website is here. And so you can go to those places and book a free consultation, and we'll love to talk with you to craft a tailored strategy that's just right for you and to help you either attract strategic buyers or to just grow your company. Well, thank you, Dennis.
Thank you again. And similarly, if you'd like to learn how to use your cash to pay less interest so that you can achieve some of the things that Charles has talked about, my website is www.cashmapapp.com, and my email address is dennis@cashmapconsulting.com. And we look forward to connecting with you again on April 11th. Have a great day and a great month, and
April 10th, I believe.
All the success. Yes.
All right. Thank you.